Hello everyone! I have some really fun things on my craft table to show you in today's video. So this is a collection from Spellbinders and Vicky Papaioannou. It's called Tunnel Scapes, and I have two of the die sets from this collection and a stamp set. The set on the left is called Underwater Tunnel, and then on the right I have a coordinating die set that's called Underwater Marine Life. It includes beautiful tropical fish and a turtle, and they are layering dies. The dies on the left create a beautiful underwater scene for all of these tropical fish. And last is the coordinating stamp set. It is called Typewriter Adventure Sentiments, and this is a stamp set that will coordinate with all of the dies from this collection. Vicky also has a beautiful treescape collection and a skyscape. I'll include the links to all of these in the description box if you want to check them out. So for my first card, I'm going to create a shaker card. I don't do this very often because I'm not very good at it, but I just love the results, and there's such fun cards to hand out. So I cut out my layers already, and as you can see, they layer up just beautifully. I'm going darkest to lightest with my cardstocks. I love that purple, but I decided to use the blue glitter cardstock instead of the purple. But each scene that you create is going to be a little bit different depending on where you put the die on your panel and how you flip it. I'm flipping some of these panels around just to see what looks best to me. And once I have it set, then I can start on my card. So let's go ahead and put the tropical fish together. This one is an angelfish, I believe, and I cut it out with some tropical orange. I love this bright orange. It's kind of new to the Spellbinders shop, and I'm layering it on top of some cosmic sky blue. I'll add the little fin. Some of these pieces are so small you have to use your tweezers. And then the next fish I cut out with a blue and a yellow, and they're so easy and fun to layer. After I have my fish assembled, I will add a little bit of black cardstock behind their eyes so that their eyes look black. I didn't put the fin on this fish. I'm just letting the yellow paper show through. And now for the third fish, I'm using a light pink and a dark pink. I absolutely had to use some pinks for this magical card, as well as some glitter cardstock. I'm bringing in some of Spellbinder's beautiful glitter cardstocks. They have a lot of different colors. And now for the turtle. There are 4 dies to this turtle set. Layering die sets like this always make your finished pieces more magical and just cute. I'll attach this bottom piece, or this kind of edging, to the shell. Look how cute that makes it. And then there are 2 pieces that go on the arms. I cut them out with a sage green and a pink, but I do end up changing those out. I'm actually going to be using the turtle on card number 2. And next, I'm going to start putting together the shaker card. I'm using some waffle flower shaker covers. These are meant to be full panel shaker covers, but I wanted to use this nice thick acetate. I didn't have anything like this in my stash, so I'm going to be using this. I'll put the acetate in between 2 of the panels. My darkest panel is indigo blue. It looks black, but it's just a really deep, beautiful navy. And I'll attach this to the blue glitter cardstock. It's going to take a little bit longer to dry on this glitter cardstock. I'm just going to let that sit for a few minutes. These shaker covers have a film that you need to peel off, and then you can glue it down. I'm going to be using liquid adhesive, but you can use double-sided adhesive or tape runner, whatever you prefer. So I'm covering this panel with glue, going in and out all of the little nooks and crannies, all the way to the edge. And then I can attach the acetate, and I will have to trim that down, but I'm going to press it in place and then just let that sit for a minute. before I trim off the overhang. The sentiment is going to say, "You're fantastic." And I'm stamping this onto another piece of the light blue cardstock, and I used some navy blue ink for that. I'm adding some ink to my back panel just to add a little more interest to my first window, or the smallest window. Just needed a little more variation of the blue. I'm coming in with, it's called Ocean, and it's a positively saturated ink. And now I can glue this window down flat. So I have the two panels of my shaker card ready to go, but I do need to add some foam tape behind my first panel. But of course, before I attach the top panel, I'll glue down my tropical fish. I also have a coral die cut that I cut out with more of the glitter cardstock in pink. I attached some foam tape liberally behind this panel. When you do this, you just want to make sure that there aren't any gaps between the foam strips. Now I can pour in my shaker pieces. These are some shaker bits that I bought off of Amazon. They look like bubbles, and I thought they were just perfect for this card. I do add a little too much to this card, but I'm going to fix that. Just using a piece of cardstock as a spoon. And now for the scariest part, I'm going to attach the bottom panel to my shaker panel and hope that they line up the way I want them to. And once it's down permanently. There's no going back at this point. I'm taking my time to press the back panel into the foam tape so it attaches perfectly. And as you can see, there are just too many bubbles in this. I used my all-in-one tool to poke a hole between the back panel and the foam. I'm just going to pour out some of the bubbles and then press that back into place, and it worked out just fine. Now let's decorate the front of this card. I have some seaweed that I cut out with some green glitter cardstock. And then I'm going to attach my sentiment next. I'll glue it down flat with some liquid glue. I'll let that dry, and then I can cut off the overhang. Next, I'll glue down my orange and blue fish. And then I saved my favorite piece for the last. I love this little anchor. This came with the Underwater Tunnels set, and I tied on some silver string, and I'm just going to wrap it around the anchor. I'll use liquid glue at first behind this. I cut out this anchor with some brushed silver cardstock. It does have a coating on it, so it takes a little bit longer to dry. So I do hold it down for a minute. But then I decide to come in with my micro dots. These are sticky, and it's an instant stick. I put one behind the top of the anchor and one behind the bottom, and that will ensure that it doesn't fall off. So let's attach this to a top folding card base. I'm going to attach some rocks that I cut out with brushed gold cardstock. I'll put these down right by the seaweed. Vicky thought of so many fun details to her set. I love these little rocks. They just add a lot to the card. And then here is card number 1, all done. And let me give it a gentle shake. And you can see all of those cute bubble embellishments rolling around. My daughter saw this card on my desk and instantly claimed it. So this is going to her. And now for card number 2. I'm starting out by wetting down a piece of Dune cardstock with a baby wipe. I'm going to emboss this with a 3D folder. This is called Scattered Shells. I love this folder. It came out last summer. It is so beautiful. Let me show you what this looks like after I emboss it. I wet it down just to ensure that the paper doesn't crack when I run it through my Platinum 6. For this card, I'm going to use one fish and then the turtle. I blended on some pink ink on this fish, just to add a little bit of shading. I'll glue the light pink fin on the side of this fish. The center panels from the Underwater Tunnels set are just adorable. They're going to be so fun to put on your card fronts. I'm going to layer up 2 of them. So I have the glitter piece from card number 1, and then I'm putting a piece of light blue cardstock on top of that. But you'll just see a little hint of the blue glitter from behind the light blue cardstock. I'm using my tape runner to do this, but I do come in a little bit later with some liquid glue. It just wasn't sticking very well to the glitter cardstock. I wanted to add a little more dimension to my blue cardstock again, so I'm using some really dark blue. This is Chipped Sapphire. It's a Distress Oxide ink. I'm not bringing it out all the way to the edges. I just wanted to add a little more depth to the scene I'm creating for this card. Now I can start attaching the critters, but first I'm going to change the shell on my turtle, cutting it out with some dark green cardstock. And I'll attach an orange ridge around the bottom of it. I also attached some green over his arms and used a little bit of dark green ink to add some shading. And now for my cute pink fish. I cut out a coral piece with this beautiful tangerine orange cardstock. And then I also cut out another rock. This is from Latte Brown cardstock. I'm going to attach my panel to my card base now using some liquid glue. And this is such a heavy panel that I'm using the glue pretty liberally. I'm going to have 2 sentiments on this card, one on the outside and one on the inside. So this is going to be a birthday card. This is going to be so fun to give to a child, or actually anyone, I think, would love to get a pretty card like this. So on the outside, it will say happy birthday. I'm stamping it onto a piece of Dune cardstock, same color as the embossed piece behind. Then I'm going to cut these out into strips. I'll attach the happy birthday up at the top left using some liquid glue as well as some foam squares, just so it is the same height as the water on the card. Spellbinders also has some new gems in the shop. The gems I'm attaching to this card, they're called Capri Blue. It's just the perfect color for an underwater scene. And let me give you a close-up look at card number 2. So here is the outside. I added some glitter pen over the rock. For the inside, I used another piece left over from card number 1. The sentiment says, wishing you oceans of joy. And then I used another cute anchor. I'll have links to all of the products that I used to create these 2 cards today in my description box. And when you use those links, I get a small kickback at no extra cost to you. I hope you all have a wonderful crafty day. Bye!